Advanced kettlebell jerks, starting with one arm jerk. When your push press, you've been doing that for a while, maybe takes a cycle, maybe a few cycles to practice it, definitely hundreds of reps. Once that starts feeling good and clean and powerful, that you're able to project lower body power in through your upper body, connect feet to fingers, it might be the case that your jerk starts to come naturally, that you're trying to get underneath it as the weight's coming up. I've seen that happen many times, that folks just start trying to sit underneath it because it's more efficient. When you add the technical jerk, what it means is you're adding a second dip. It's called the second dip or the under squat. The first one drives it off of your body. The second one gets underneath it. So this means that I only had to throw the weight up to here because I'm under squatting to get to my lockout instead of having to throw the weight all the way overhead. So if you are push pressing correctly, the push press should allow you to do more weight or more reps than a strict press. And if you're jerking correctly, the jerk should allow you to do more weight or more reps than a push press. That's the continuum. If you are not, if it's all the same, then there's something missing in the movement there. So one arm jerks have a dip to drive and then an under squat, and that's where I catch in my lockout and I finish in a standing position. Now I'm back into structure. Landing is the same. The bell moves forward, I lean my whole body from my feet back, and then I catch it with my legs. At speed, from the front, one arm jerks, and breath matters. This is the kind of thing where a lot of breath gets hold. There are more technical breathing patterns of managing your exhales and your inhales to move with your body. That isn't the first thing you should be thinking about. First thing you should be thinking about is mechanics and breathing naturally. Don't hold your breath. This is the kind of thing where there's a lot of tension potential. And folks, when they're trying to create tension, will hold their breath and lock everything down. But you have to ebb and flow. You have to release the strength. You can't just hold on to it. Power is all about generating and then releasing the strength. And this is a throwing movement. The movement is I'm throwing the power up. The weight might not leave my hand, but I'm throwing it. The final progression with jerks is a 2 kettlebell jerk. All the mechanics are the same. Everything is the same. Only now I'm pushing twice as much weight up overhead. So, start this one from the front. You need one clean, just like with the one arm jerk to get it to the rack position. Strong center. Strong center. I wouldn't play that game of racking on one hand, but I'm strong in my center so I can connect my rack down to my feet. My legs are carrying the load. My upper body, my arms are relaxed. I am putting my arms against, they're connected to my torso, to my rib cage. So I am not carrying this with my upper body. I'm transferring it down to my lower body. I can feel my legs carrying the weight. Notice that the weight is in between the middle of my feet. That's the key to be structurally sound and in structure, not in strength. If I'm leaning forward, now I'm carrying it in strength. If I'm arching back, now I'm carrying it in strength. So I find my structure and I settle into that. Now, dip, land and stand. From the front. Stance, generally speaking, about shoulder width. You might try a little wider. You might try a little narrower. I find for most people, starting with shoulder width or a little wider is best. For some people, but I think very few, are even to do a narrow stance. It just reduces your base. And definitely not feet together. I don't see anyone naturally doing that. Definitely don't bring your feet together. Other things to think about is that because you're using your whole body, there's going to be a big cardio response. You got to fuel the muscles doing the powerful thing. Thinking about giving as much attention to the downward, the eccentric portion of the movement, as you do to the upward. Learning how to catch and reestablish connection with it before dipping and throwing is really important to feel soft and feel connected with the weight. You might find, as you're practicing these, little subtle changes make it a lot more powerful. One that took me a long time to find was for the longest time, thought, I gotta get a nice deep dip, so I really use my legs. What I have found from watching videos of myself, watching videos of other lifters, and practicing, is that it's actually a much shallower dip. It gives me a lot more spring. The deeper I go, the more I poop out and go too deep into my stretch reflex that I don't get a lot of spring back. So play with the depth. Your depth might be different than mine, but play with it. Don't get stuck just doing, I learned it this way and now I'm just gonna stop thinking about it. Keep thinking about it, keep trying subtlety. The most complex things are subtle. They're not the ones that look complex. They're the ones that you can feel, small little changes from within you. That's where the real complexity lies. That's where the real gains come from. It's not from the flashy things that look amazing on video or in pictures. That's not true complexity. So, progressions to advanced jerks.